the super team. Now it come back to bite him. And all these guys, it's going to be interesting, not just now, but for the NBA the next couple of years. Because the one thing we don't want is a non-competitive league. That's not good for everybody. You know, because we can't keep disrespecting the fans. Like say, there is some loyalty. People say if we don't owe the fans, then we owe the fans a lot. But when you see, you look up here, man. There's so many 23 jerseys in here. Even Michael Jordan, who's the greatest I've ever seen, or Magic Johnson, I didn't see any one player have as many jerseys these kids, 23 we have here in Cleveland. These guys love this guy. And the thing is, he's a homegrown hero. So he means so much to this city, to this community. He left one time and he wrote that great letter about what Ohio means to him. Well, if it means that much to you, stay here and finish this journey. You don't have to win the championship. I mean, you can be really good and great and be competitive, but you don't have to win the championship.
Chuck, not to interrupt, but I got to ask you about that, because aren't we being hypocritical? We're saying, and look, I'm with you. MJ's the best that I've seen, right? So if we're saying, well, to be the best, you got to go win more championships.
No, we
right?
never said that. Only guys in the media say that.
Yeah, guys that never played. We don't say that.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, unfortunately, and I know this is crazy, there are more people that are fans and media than guys who played.
Right, but
so
you're saying that we said, and you're asking us as players.
My people, the average Joe.
But
right?
the players don't agree. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Players, I don't challenge his greatness because he didn't win a championship. Because I could name you a lot of players that went and sat on the end of the bench and got a ring.
Sure.
So we don't look at it in the same way. If you win it in your prime, it's different than winning it late with some other players. Are you driving the bus? That's
or
really
you're
a
bus rider.
Right.
Or are you a bus
rider?
rider?
Following?
And it's so for guys, if LeBron would have stayed here and only won 2 in his career, to me, that would have been almost equivalent to Jordan winning 6 because of the situation and the teammates
rather than him going web to Miami.
Yeah, so for the fans, I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
The media portrays that, not the players right. But we're the players, so how we judge each other, I think,
in case
have a little more credence.
No, I get that.
If LeBron goes to Houston,
yeah,
and win a couple more championships with Chris Paul, it won't be the same as winning 1 or 2 here. If you hear this if he goes, I hear all the rumors. If he goes to the Celtics, winning in Boston won't be the same as winning in Cleveland. Going to Houston won't be the same as winning 1 or 2 here in Cleveland.
Yeah, the bottom line is they're both right. Look, whatever he does from this moment forward, if he stays here in Cleveland and never wins again, he's cemented his legacy.
Yes.
His legacy, what he has done, his body of work. And so I don't think it really matters. I think for him, and Chuck says it best. You're from here. He's inspired this whole city, this community, this entire state. You think about it. If he were to leave, you want to stay in the East.
Yeah.
And then where would you go where you can really, kind of have it like you have it here?
We were talking about this upstairs.
Yeah, so I just, I think it's good for the NBA. He's here in this market. I think it's great for LeBron. It's a mutually beneficial situation if he stays here. And I think at the end of the day, once the dust settles and he makes his decision, I think there's a real strong chance he does stay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, let's get one thing straight. You hear all this stuff. If you go to the Lakers, they ain't going to be no good.
No, they're not going to be good.
They're not going to be good.
I want to ask you guys something just before we break. The onus of being a torchbearer, as you guys were in your own generations playing, it's something where when Webb, you talk about, and Charles does, what he means to the NBA, how it's not good for the NBA, obviously, if he just jumps. Did you guys feel that, I don't want to say burden, but that obligation as representatives of the NBA? Should LeBron think about that aspect of it when he's making his decision?
Well, from my point of view, I think Chuck was in that kind of that
sure.
era. As far as me, I wasn't in that era. But as far as to say, do you have that pressure? Yeah, everybody wants to win the championship, but at that time for me, it was just different.
Right.
If it was today, I might have gone to San Antonio and played with Tim Duncan. But then it was an honor in losing against the other bus driver.
The competition.
The other bus driver. Not the other competition of the other bus driver for me. And so that was what was most important. And that's why we look back at careers and say, wow, Chuck, you lost to Jordan, but, man, y'all won 2 there. And how did you win 2, in Chicago in that series? You respect the player's journey. You respect how hard they work. You respect their decisions. Like Grant said, if he goes and plays with all of his friends, that's fine. It's just that I like to see guys compete. And he's in the finals, guys. He's getting swept, but anybody would have got swept in this finals, including Boston or anyone else. And so I choose to kind of celebrate all the great things that he's done. And back to your question about why kind of didn't sound that great with his teammates, because history is going to absolve him. History is going to say you're the greatest of all time and not even remember who was on this team. We were talking about Boobie Gibson earlier. He had 25 on us in the Pistons, and one day you're going to remember the guys that he's played with, the coaches he's played with, and I just think he's done such a great job that right now it's just cool to honor him and not make him do anything. Because if he goes to the Lakers, doesn't make the playoffs, then everybody's going to be saying, all those fans and media are going to be saying he's the worst ever.
But if he wants to go, Chuck, and we don't know, right?
It's his own decision.
Yeah.
You're okay with that, though?
No, I'm not okay with that.
Okay, you're not.
I wasn't okay when Kevin went to the Warriors.
But I thought you said it's his decision.
Yeah, but I don't have to agree with it.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't have wore that suit you got. I disagree with you.
My suit's nicer than the suit you got.
I'm just kidding. Don't be sensitive, little
It's not
fella.
as expensive.
First of all, it's not expensive.
It's definitely not as expensive.
Garanimals are not expensive.
Oh, please, I didn't want to hear it.
Listen, wherever LeBron goes, we have to accept it. That don't mean we have to agree with it. Him being here is great for the NBA. It's great for this community. Like I say, Kevin is a great player and a great guy. I didn't agree with him going to the Warriors because he made them pretty much unbeatable. That would have probably been, and listen, go back to last year when neither one of these teams lost a game to the finals. Like, that's not competitive balance. We knew 7 months ago it was going to be the Rockets and the Warriors in the West and probably LeBron in the East. That's not competitive balance. That's already out there. And that's not fun for me to come to work. I want to see, like, even Michael Jordan when they won, listen, we can go back and look. There are a couple times against the Knicks we thought they were going to lose. There were a couple times against the Pacers we thought they were going to lose. Yeah. Think about this, Casey. Last year was the first time, and people talk about, there were super teams in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, but they bit it the right way. But they still never played each other 3 years in a row in the playoffs. Now we're going on year 4. Think about that. Everybody talk about all those great teams from back in the day. They never played the same teams every year. First time ever 3 years in a row. Now 4 years in a row, the same teams.
I'm just going back to the suit.
Listen, you better loosen that button before you put Grant's eye out. That button's going to pop off, boy.
Oh, boy. Ludacris added my voice in the crowd tonight. At King James, we need this win. When we come back.
You from Atlanta.
Luda recruiting him for you.